Great, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I would like to call this meeting of the Board of Psychology Licensure Committee meeting on August 8th, 2025 to order. Mr. Polk, could you please call the roll? Will it be Mr. Polk today or someone else?
No, it's Miss Whitney.
Oh,
Harb
Miss
sheets?
Whitney, okay. Here.
Harb sheets? Nystrom?
Here.
Eight?
Here.
Okay.
Thank you. Quorum's established.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm happy to welcome you to today's Licensure Committee meeting. And before we move to public comment for items not on the agenda, I would like to share a few logistical items. Please turn your cell phones and other devices to silent, and also please mute your telephone unless you're speaking. If you're attending today's meeting and would like continuing professional development credit, Mr. Polk, or maybe Miss Whitney, will let us know now how you will receive credit. Miss Whitney?
Give me Mr. Polk.
Oh, Mr. Polk. Okay, great. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Good morning. Attending today's Licensure Committee meeting provides you with CPD hours under category number 1, attendance at a California Board of Psychology meeting. At the end of today's meeting, I will announce how many hours will be credited for attending the full meeting. For attendees who joined by phone by calling the U.S. toll phone number and use the access code, please send an email to the following email address: bopce@dca.ca.gov. Again, the email address is bopce, as in Board of Psychology Continuing Education, at dca.ca.gov. In the email, please provide your name, license number, and the phone number of the phone you called in from. Attendees who signed in using a computer or mobile device from the WebEx link, your attendance is automatically documented and no further information is necessary, as your name and email address is recorded upon joining the meeting. For attendees who are in person with us today at any of the teleconferencing locations, the attendance sign-in sheet provided will be the board's record of your attendance. Please sign in and out as needed for today's meeting. For all attendees, either remote or in person at today's meeting, please notate today's date as August 8th, 2025, and note that we are here for the Licensure Committee meeting. Please maintain this record, as this will be your record of attendance, as certificates of attendance will not be provided by the board. Again, at the end of the meeting today, I will announce how many hours will be credited for attending today's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Polk. Okay, as indicated, we have allocated time for public comment for items not on the agenda at the beginning of our meeting. And additionally, we welcome public comments on any item on the agenda, and it is the committee's intent to ask for public comments prior to taking action on any agenda item. Public comments are instrumental to our meetings, adding to the vibrant discussion on matters before the committee. In making a public comment, please do not identify any licensee or registrant of the board by name or any individual issues or specific licensure application or qualification questions in order to avoid biasing future action that may be required of board members in our capacity as a deliberative body in enforcement proceedings. Specific concerns need to be addressed directly with board staff. Note also that any written comment received is added to the written record for today's meeting. Please be respectful of our time constraints and the need to conduct and complete the committee's business. There will be a 2-minute time limit on each speaker to ensure maximum participation by all in the context of a busy agenda. The moderator will give the speaker a 30-second reminder. Now I would like to open for public comment for items not on the agenda. Ms. Moderator, could you please do that?
All right, this is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment for items not on the agenda, please click the raise hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. And it looks like we do have a request from Richard Geisler. And Richard, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak with a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
I'm sorry, that was a mistake that I didn't have any comment to make. I don't know how that came up.
No worries. Thank you.
Uh,
All right. It appears there are no further requests for public comment. I just want to confirm, do we have any public comment in the El Dorado room?
There's no public in the El Dorado room.
Okay.
Perfect. In that case, it appears there are no requests for public comment at this time.
Okay. And there are no requests in San Diego. Dr. Tate, are there any requests where you're at?
No, I have no public members here.
Okay. Okay. All right. We will, as I've described, we will now have an opportunity, or you will all have an opportunity to comment on each agenda item that we will be discussing during the open session of our meeting, and we will take public comment prior to acting on any agenda item. We will now meet in open session as noted on the agenda, and then we will move into closed session to discuss and consider qualifications for licensure. We will not be discussing any items in open session after the closed session of business concludes. The meeting will be adjourned at the end of the closed session portion of the meeting. Okay, let's move to item number 4, review and possible approval of the Licensure Committee meeting minutes from January 31st, 2025. Are there any comments from committee members?
No, but I'd like to move that we approve these committee meeting minutes.
Okay, I second
And I'll
that.
second.
Okay, oh, thanks, Ms. Nystrom. Any public comment about the Licensure Committee meeting minutes from January 31st?
All right, this is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment, you can click that raise hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can press *3 on your device. And while we wait for people on WebEx, I just want to confirm at any of the in-person locations if we have any public comment.
Not in San Diego.
Not in Reading.
None in the El Dorado room in Sacramento.
Okay, perfect. And it appears there are no requests on WebEx as well.
Okay. Ms. Whitney, can you call for the vote?
Harpsheets,
Aye.
Nystrom,
Aye.
Tate.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Great, thank you. Okay, now we will move to staff reports. And the first report will be the licensing report, and Ms. Song will provide that to us.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm having some technical difficulty this morning with logging in, so I'm using my phone. My name is Mai Zong. I'll be going over the licensing report. Starting with attachment A, it is a snapshot of the number of the board license type and different license statuses as of June 17, 2025. Our license type includes psychologist, psychological associate, psychological testing technician, research psychoanalyst, and student research psychoanalyst. I also want to share some background information that the research psychoanalyst and student research psychoanalyst are 2 license types that the Board of Psychology recently acquired from the Medical Board, also known as MPC, the beginning of this year on 1/1/2025. Looking at this chart, I also want to emphasize that the majority of the licensed population data from the research psychoanalyst and student research psychoanalysts were inherited from NBC. And then moving on to attachment B, we have the application workload report. This report shows the different license types opened and approved application between December 1st, 2024 and May 31st, 2025 at the time the stats were pulled on June 17, 2025. Looking at the psychologist application workload report, the approved application in the 6-month period do not appear to have a drastic change. I know I mentioned this almost at every licensure and board meeting, but the complete retake transaction has a higher number of approved application in January and April because complete candidates are allowed to take the complete once a quarter. Therefore, if the candidate submitted a request retake application before their eligible quarter, we will approve the retake request application the beginning of the next quarter. And then moving on to the psychological associate application workload report, the approved initial application data appears to be static, but we have received a higher volume of psychological associate initial application in the month of May. And it is possibly due to students graduating and are ready to start accruing supervised professional experience. And then moving on to the psychological testing technician workload report, there is a slight increased trend of initial application, but overall the number of these applications is still pretty manageable for staff. And then before moving on to the next attachment, I want to highlight that we have received our first student research psychoanalyst application in April 2025. However, it is not included in this attachment B since there is minimal data and to compare and present for this license type because as I mentioned earlier, we recently acquired this license type along with the research psychoanalyst for NBC on 1/1/2025. And then we are looking at attachment C now, which is the application and notification received from June 2024 to May 2025. At the bottom of page 1, we did include the student research psychoanalyst application received in April. The application has been approved at the beginning of June 2025. And then when comparing the new application and notification received in the last 12-month period to the same 12-month period in this attachment, for the comparison, there is an increase of 104 psychologist application and 43 psychological associates application, a decrease of 46 psychological associate notification, and an increase of 39 psychological testing technician application and 29 psychological testing technician notification. Then we have attachment B, which provides 6-month overview of average application processing timeframe and business days. The average processing timeframe for the psychologist application seemed to have a decreased trend, but for the psychological associate, there's an increased trend in the initial application and notification. And I think it's also because they're graduating, so that's why the increase of application received. And we also observed similar trend in the past. And for the psychological testing technician, the application processing timeframe seems to be sporadic. So it seems that this one, since we don't have many application anyways, it's just really unpredictable when we receive a higher number of application, which would increase the processing time frame. And with that, we'll conclude my licensure reports. I'll be glad to answer any question.
Thank you, Ms. Zhang. Dr. Tate and Ms. Nystrom, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions at this time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
None here. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's open the box for public comment on the licensing report.
All right, this is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment on this item, you can click that raise hand icon, or if you're an audio participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. And then I just want to confirm if there's any public at the in-person locations.
None in San
No
Diego.
public comment.
None in Sacramento.
All right, and it does appear we have a request for public comment on WebEx from Michael Torres. Michael, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. And this is the moderator. Michael, let me request to unmute one more time. You'll want to click that prompt when it appears on your computer.
All right, you got, okay, sorry. I'm using the web
No,
version. Oh, got
no
me?
worries. We
Cool.
can hear you now.
Yeah, first time at the meeting and at one of these meetings, just a technical issue I was curious about. When you were presenting the data, I'm assuming we were supposed to be looking at the meeting materials as opposed to seeing anything on the screen. Is that correct?
Yes, Dr.
Okay.
Torres, if you are on the board website, you will see the agenda and materials link next to today's meeting, and that would give you all of the information that we are going through.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing that something should be on the screen, the presentation screen. So I'm getting,
Right.
thank you. Get it?
Sure.
Cool.
Thanks for your comment. I'm sure other people will benefit from that. Okay.
All right,
Any
this is the
other-
moderator. I also have a request from Emily Schum. And Emily, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. This is the moderator. Emily, if you are speaking, we cannot hear you. I'm going to request to unmute one more time. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
How's that?
Now we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
following Dr. Torres' question. I had the same question, so I did scroll through the agenda document on the website, and I didn't see anything that followed that data she was presenting. It was hard to follow what she was saying without anything visual.
Of course. There's a materials link. Did you click on that?
All I saw on the website next to the webcast was a link that said agenda, and there wasn't anything with materials in addition to that.
Okay, maybe could one of our staff members check that? I thought I saw that yesterday, as recent as yesterday, and but definitely
It's
that's
there. I just used it
no, you
myself.
did.
So there's
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
meeting
if you can guide us to that. Okay,
Okay.
it said agenda and it looked like it was the same link. Okay, so there's 2 links there. Okay, thanks
Okay,
for the
so
directions.
yeah. Do you need any more directions on that?
No, that helps now that I see there's 2 different ones.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay. Any other public comment?
This is the moderator. We have one more request for public comment. And I just wanted to add for the meeting materials, it'll show the agenda and then the WebEx instructions first, and then the meeting materials are at the end. So just keep scrolling for the meeting materials.
Yeah.
So next I have Dr. Lopez Arenas. And Dr. Lopez Arenas, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak with a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So same question. I'm looking at the document and I'm just not seeing that link. So if you could guide us all so that we don't keep asking the same question. So what
Good.
page, there are 9 pages on the PDF. So what page, I only see the DCA meetings WebEx link. So what page would that link be on?
Okay, you're on the board website, right?
Yes, so I went on the board website, I clicked on today's date, and it says there's agenda materials, and then there's webcast.
Oh, okay. Are you on, if you go under the link that says board meetings on the website, on the homepage of the website, there's one that says board meetings.
So 2025 board meeting event calendar under licensure committee.
No, it would be under, I'm trying to think if I could bring it up here.
There's
Under,
two links. Let me help you. There's two links. So one is agenda and right underneath is materials. So you have to hit the materials link.
Correct. So I hit agenda
And the
and now,
materials, not the agenda link, right underneath
so I
it is a
hit,
materials link.
correct. I hit materials.
And then there's 45 pages.
Oh, 45 pages. Okay.
Yes. So there's a
So
9-page one and a 45-page one. Apologies for the interruption.
yeah, so so recommendation is to make that more clear because that is not clear. At least there's 3 of us asking the same question and I bet more. Okay, thank you. This helps.
yeah, did you find that?
I see on page 18, there's a memorandum. And so what pages were being referred to when the individual was giving the report?
On that last report, that was starting on page 20.
Page
And
20.
yeah, and now we've gone through, we're going to start next at page 28.
Okay, and if you could provide guidance as to what page you're referencing, that would be most helpful.
Sure. I'm happy to do that. That's a great suggestion.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other public comment?
All right, this is the moderator. Appears there are no further requests for public comment at this time.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And we will move on to agenda item 5B, which is the continuing professional development and renewals report. And that does start on page 28.
Yes, thank you and good morning. Included in the meeting materials, which begin, as Dr. Harpsheet provided, on page 28 of the combined materials are the reports for continuing professional development and renewals. Attachment A on page 29 shows the percentage of renewals that were submitted online versus mailed in. Between January through May of 2025, an average of 93% of psychologists and psychological associates renewed online using the BREE system, with an average of 7% of licensees and registrants renewing by mailing in the paper application. Attachment B, which is on page 30, shows the percentages of the types of renewals approved also between January of 2025 through May of 2025. An average of 80% of psychologists renewed as active, with approximately 7% of psychologists renewing as inactive. The retirements count for approximately 2% of renewals, and psychological associates accounted for, on average, 9% of the monthly renewal applications that were approved. These percentages for renewals continue to be in line with previous months and years. Psychological testing technicians, research psychoanalysts, and student research psychoanalysts were not captured at the time of the report was generated. However, a total of 10 psychological testing technicians renewed between January of 2025 through May of 2025, and a total of 3 research psychoanalysts and 1 student research psychoanalyst renewed between that time frame as well. These types of renewals have now been captured in the report and will be added to the renewals report going forward, starting at the next board meeting on August 22nd. Next is the audits report. Audits for the months of January through May of 2025 are reflected in attachment C, which is on page 31. The pass rate reflected in the meeting materials is 42%, with 58% of the audits that were either outstanding or pending review. Currently, for the months of January and February, the pass rate was 100%. And currently, there has been no failed audit based on the CPD documentation that has been received and reviewed. Licensees for June audits were selected and were notified on July 21st. Licensees for July audits will be selected and initial notices will be sent in the next couple of weeks. Lastly, attachment D, which is on page 32, is an updated chart that reflects the common activities that are used to complete the CPD requirements. The information provided was determined by using the audits from January through May of 2025 that passed. Still, the 2 most commonly used activities are sponsored continuing education and peer consultation, followed by supervision and self-directed learning. The chart, however, does reflect that more activities are being used to complete the CPD requirements. Staff is currently compiling current statistics and will continue to update the charts and as more audits are conducted and reviewed. And staff will continue to update the committee and the board on the trends of CPD and CPD activities. That includes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Oh yeah, Mr. Polk, is it January through March or is it January through May on attachment D?
I'm sorry, it should be through May.
Okay, so we've got 5 months here. Okay, that's good.
Correct.
It's interesting. It'd be interesting, as you said, as more people are using different event opportunities to gain CPD credits. It will be interesting to compare the charts maybe from last year to this year at some point to see what we're seeing. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely.
Committee members, any questions or comments?
None here.
None here. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right. Could we please open the box for public comment?
All right, this is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a comment on this item, please click the raise hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. And it looks like we do have a couple requests for public comment. So I'll go in the order received. First, I have Adrian Casadaban. And Adrian, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. All right, and Adrian, if you are speaking, you're currently muted. I'm gonna try to send a request one more time. All right, Adrian, if you are having audio issues, you can call into the WebEx by selecting the little audio options next to your microphone and picking switch audio. In the meantime, I've noted you down and I'll try to circle back with you after we go through the other people for public comment. So in the meantime, next I have Dr. Mendoza. And Dr. Mendoza, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. All right, and Dr. Mendoza, I'm going to request to unmute one more time. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. Oh, and there, I think it worked.
Sorry.
No
Yeah,
worries.
it popped up in another window. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so I just had a really quick I guess suggestion. I was one of the lucky that was selected for the audit and I did pass, thankfully. So I just also want to reassure everyone listening that it's not difficult. You just have to turn it in. But the PDF that was generated, which I know is just sort of a guide and it's not a requirement by the board to use, was helpful, except in some of the fields, and I think I included this in my email submission, I wasn't able to input all the information because it didn't sort of, like it had a limit and it didn't adjust the text size, or it would limit the type of field input you were allowed to put in to like a number, for instance, instead of text. So that's my only suggestion. So it was very helpful, though otherwise it was just a little frustrating having to navigate that. I had to just basically create a Word document to organize all the information. So that's all. Thanks.
Okay, great. Well, I think that is helpful. I've had the same issue on mine too. And I think we were talking to somebody about trying to make that a little more user friendly.
All right, this is the moderator. I saw Adrian was able to get unmute earlier, so I'm going to request to unmute again.
Hi, this is Adrienne.
Perfect, we can hear you.
Yeah, it was in a different, you had to swipe over. I didn't know you had to swipe over to get the unmute request. So, all right, so quickly, the audit, is everyone audited? Or what, how does that work?
Mr. Polk, could you please provide that information?
Yeah, so audits they go by a monthly basis. So for instance, everyone who had an approved renewal in this, let's say for January, those licensees will be selected in the following month, so February. And currently we are auditing approximately 2% of all approved renewals.
Okay, okay. And we just work with the document we have that we send in. You just want, I mean, what do you have to give in an audit, real quick?
Well, I think I just wanted to make a comment that the document we provided is just to help, but you don't have to use that. Isn't that correct, Mr. Polk?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, so the board does have a CPD reporting form. It's a courtesy form. It's not required for a licensee to use our form if they have their own way of reporting or recording their CPD hours. So if they use our reporting form, they can submit a copy of that along with the any other supporting documentation. So if you completed continuing education credits, if you have completion certificates from the providers, you can provide the CPD reporting form and copies of those certificates. Also, like I said, if you have your own reporting form, you can submit the reporting form along with the supporting documentation. If you are selected for an audit, you do receive an initial audit notice that provides the renewal period copy to the board CPD reporting form and the due date, and it does provide instructions on how to complete the audit. But currently, like I said, only about 2% of licensees who have an approved renewal are being selected.
And once you're asked for to do an audit, how long do you have to return it?
Generally, it's 60 days.
Yeah, yeah. I may be out of town for a conference or something, and okay, I can, thank you.
Okay.
All right, this is the moderator. I also have a call-in user ending in 99. And for our call-in user, I'm going to request to unmute. You're going to press *6 on your phone to unmute.
Hi, this is Leslie Snyder. Dr. Snyder, how are you? I just basically wanted to say that I really appreciated the change from live CE to the current system because that's the reason I'm on this meeting. And I imagine it will get me more involved in being part of the board oversight. So, and I, especially with test construction for the EPPP and for the local ethics and law exam. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, this is the moderator. Appears there are no further requests for public comment at this time.
Okay, I'm having trouble. I've lost my video for some reason of the meeting. Can you see me?
Yes, this is the moderator. We can see you.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I can't see anything at all.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what that's about, but I guess that's okay for now if I can't see anything.
We can see you.
Isn't it funny? Okay, well, I'm going to try to conduct the meeting, not seeing what's going on. We'll see. Every time I try to sign back in, and it's saying they can't find my account. And I just want to try to sign in as a guest. Ms. Moderator, do you have any idea about how I might do that?
This is the moderator. I know WebEx recently had an update this week. You may need to have to re-download the application. I'm not sure why it's asking you to sign in as a guest, unfortunately.
Well, it was okay if I did sign in as a guest, but now it's not giving me that option. And so it just says we can't find your account, but I would like to sign in as a guest because then you don't need an account, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we will go through, and I'll do this. If I'm missing something, just let me know. Okay, we'll go to the item 5C, which is the examination report. And Ms. Hanson, if you could take us to through that.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, so for the EPPP, currently the overall pass rate for the California candidates for the EPPP in 225 is 39%, and the overall first-time pass rate is 63%. First-time pass rates typically are higher than overall pass rates, and the pass rates are averaging slightly lower than previous years. Regarding the CAPLE, the overall pass rate in 2025 is averaging 73.72%, and the overall first-time pass rate is 74.9%. CAPLE pass rates, they are varying a little bit, but they're trending slightly lower than previous years. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Committee members, do you have any questions?
No, but I just wanted to mention this is on page 34.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
Individuals. But no, I
Yeah.
do not have any questions. Thank you, Ms. Hanson.
Okay. Ms. Nystrom.
None here. Thank you, Ms. Hanson.
Okay, let's open for public comment. By the way, I got my screen back. I don't know how, but somehow a lot of clicking that worked.
All right, this is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment on this item, please click the raise hand icon. Or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. And it looks like we do have a couple requests for public comments. I'm going to go in the order received. First, I have Dr. Dirtsikayan. And Dr. Dirtsikayan, I'm going to request to unmute your microphone. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Hear me? Hi. Sorry, I was trying to figure it out. Thank you. My name is Dr. Dirtsakian. I am currently unlicensed and in the process of taking the APPP. And I think a lot of my colleagues and I have a lot of frustrations with the pass rate, and we would like some clarity and understanding kind of how that's set and what could be done, because there's a lot of competent unlicensed clinicians, and we're really finding it be a struggle to pass this exam. And you know, what, if anything, can the board do to impact a better outcome of the numbers?
That is a great question because we also are concerned about this potentially being some kind of a barrier to licensure. We have our pathways to licensure process to try to help make it easier. And we are looking also and watching carefully what's going on. And in our next item, I think it's the next item on the agenda, we're going to be talking about the EPPP update and give people in your situation a chance. We'll talk about a way to provide some feedback. We're also trying to look at what is happening that the pass rates are so low. So know that we're paying attention to it, that we have concerns about it, and we'll keep that. And please feel free to continue to submit comments and let us know, because we need to hear this.
Thank you.
All right, this is the moderator. Next I have Dr. Lopez Arenas. And Dr. Lopez Arenas, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Hi, thank you so much. My name is Dr. Araceli Lopez Arenas, and similar to the previous speaker, I am licensed now. However, it took me about 4 years to get licensed, and I finally passed on my 5th attempt. On my first attempt, I scored a 423, which I had no idea about this exam. So I figured, okay, that's on me. Second exam, I shot up to a 480. On the third exam, the first one was February 2018, and then I took it again in October 2018, and I got the 480, and I was told I missed it by 4 to 6 questions. So I was told, go ahead and take it right away. I scheduled it for December. At the time, I was unemployed and underemployed. I was living at home. Had I not lived at home after internship, I would have been homeless. And there's a lot of adversity that happened. And I foregoed getting health insurance, the ACA, because I figured, well, if I pass it, then I'll be able to get a job because I was not hireable. And then so instead of paying the $800 to get health insurance, I paid the $800 to take the test, and I got a 490. We know the cutoff is a 500.
Wow.
Then COVID hit. Again, still nobody would hire me, even though I'm bilingual, bicultural, Spanish speaker. I have a PhD. I have a master's in public health. I did an APA
30
accredited
seconds.
program. Eventually, I got a 490. Then I went back to a 480 and then a 511. So my question is, the stats are there. What are we doing to help individuals like myself and so many countless that then lose the ability to work because of the 6-year mark? And these people feel so hopeless that they're even suicidal. And I've recorded a podcast about this issue. So suicide is what's at stake here.
Yeah. I know it's so very frustrating. And I understand, having been through that myself many years ago. And I think that, as I said, we're trying to look at what's going on, what's happening. And I think you might check with CPA also, California Psychological Association, because their function is through professional issues. And this is a professional issue. And you might want to check with them to see, if they have something going
But
on.
it should come from the board, though. There's so many things. I've been doing this for so many years. I started coaching because of this. I'm not able to be on the board of these because I do coach people, and what I do is I give them hope. And nobody's doing anything, so it's up to the board. Texas has already decided we're going to create our own test. There are people that are pushing. So what are we doing against ASPPB? Because they keep coming back. They don't give us data on the numbers. And this is more than just racial, ethnic inequity. This is also socioeconomic status, because I also work with white individuals. I work with Canadians. They have
Apologies.
a
This is the
surge
moderator.
factor
Time
out.
is up.
Sorry, I was
Yeah,
just answering. What is the board doing is my
let me
question.
talk to you. Let us hang in there with us for the next item, because I think you will hear more about it on the next item.
Thank you so
Okay?
much.
Yeah.
All right, this is the moderator. Next I have Jose Carrena. And Jose, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. All right, this is the moderator. Jose, if you are speaking, we cannot hear you. I'm going to request to unmute one more time. All right, Jose, I'm going to request to unmute again. And if it doesn't work, I will circle back with you after we take the next commenter. All right. And it appears, oh, I apologize.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay, all right. This is Dr. Jose Corena, and I have been licensed for many years. And going back to the same topic that you was talking about, I was wondering if there is a discussion about extending the 6-year limit.
Not that I am aware of, although I can ask Mr. Burke if he has any other information about that.
Thank you, Dr. Hubsheets. This is John Burke, Executive Officer of the Board of Psychology. Currently, there are no plans or considerations to increasing that 6-year eligibility limit. We haven't had those conversations. There are situations that I believe this committee considers where someone might need an extension for various, life events and so on. Those are considered on a case-by-case basis. But in terms of, across the board increase from 6 years to 7, 8, 9, that there have been no discussions about that, and there are no plans to implement anything like that at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burke.
Thank you.
All right, this is the moderator. Next I have Jason Fryer, and Jason, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, good. Since everybody opened it, I was going to wait till the EPPP discussion, but I am a psychological associate. I have 1 year left before my 6 years is up. I'm now on my 5th attempt taking this EPPP. Everybody has made the same comments that I have found that this test is egregiously difficult. It is not testing for entry level. It does no such kind of an examination whatsoever. We know the state of Texas last year filed an antitrust complaint against them. And I don't know if you're aware, but there's currently a federal lawsuit against ASPPB and Pearson in regards to this examination under antitrust, product liabilities, etc. And that's in the Eastern District Court of the United States. My question to you is, what are we going to do about this? Because this examination is not doing anything, and this board does not seem to support license examination candidates. They're only supporting APA in this case because that's who created this ASPPB organization. So they're supporting the APA and giving more strength to the APA and the ASPPB, but diminishing the strength of those of us who are struggling. The Araceli was really, really smart getting in the 400s. I haven't even made the 400s yet.
30 seconds.
So I'm very concerned because I'm trying to get licensed. I'm the only, not the only, but I'm one of very few people in this area that even serve adults with ADHD and ASD and give those kinds of diagnostics, and I'm about to lose my job.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we will talk more about the status of the EPPP in the next item. So thank you for this comment, and feel free to add something additional if you have more to add in the next item.
Thank you.
All right, next I have Dr. Sarah Roach, and Dr. Roach, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. All right, this is moderator. Let me try to request to unmute one more time. Appears we cannot hear you. You'll want to click that unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear
Can
you now.
Yeah, okay. So I just passed the EPPP before yesterday after trying 3 times. and I took 7 months out of work. I think I was privileged. I was able to take 7 months without working to pass this test, because first time when I took the test, it was my first time not passing a test. And I am a 51-year-old person. I worked for 10 years in France. I was psychologist in France. So I work in different hospitals and different structure. When I came back here, I had to go back to school, get my PhD. And this test, what I wanted, because you ask like why people cannot pass, the questions in this test are made in the way that are not understandable. That's it. You know, from 225 questions, my second attempt that I passed, I knew only 16 questions. I knew only 16 questions that are not in a way, they were understandable. So I could answer 16 questions by being 100% sure. The rest of the questions, I just try to understand and do my best. So this is the problem. The test is not allowing us. I mean, it's not about our competence.
30 seconds.
I think many of us are super competent, but this test is not. It's just a way some people pass it because they know how to, how to take those tests. And yeah, it is really frustrating to not allow people be able to help public and have their license and work, and just be stuck behind this test.
Okay, unfortunately, time is up.
Thank you very much for your comment. Thank you.
All right, this is a moderator. It appears there are no further requests for public comment on WebEx, and I just want to confirm that there is no public present at any of the in-person locations.
Correct.
Correct. None in Sacramento.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to agenda item 6, the EPPP update. And as many of you know, ASPPB is working on an enhanced EPPP. And it's some time ago, they were working on an EPPP2, which was designed to test skills and not just knowledge. And that changed. Somebody referred to in the comments the state of Texas actions about that, and we're certainly aware of that. And so the enhanced EPPP is something that's happening. We have tried as a board trying to play an important role in comments and in being involved because, of course, as a board, we are also concerned about any barriers to licensure. And you should know that on September 18th, there will be a town hall meeting. It's on Zoom that ASPPB is conducting, and they are on that meeting looking for input from students and those in the licensing process. We should be able to get some information. I think, Mr. Burke, can we get information on that out on that meeting to our licensees, or what would be the best way for them to get that information so that they could sign on and provide this kind of important input?
Yes, we are planning to have a sort of mini outreach campaign regarding some of the actions ASPPB are taking, which I was going to speak to. So the virtual EPPP town hall meeting is for students and license certification candidates. That's September the 18th, 2025. It'll be from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern time. And they're going to be discussing recent developments of the EPPP and including what's new, what exam candidates can expect, and there'll be time for comments, questions, and answers. We will be sharing information about this on our social media. We will be sending an email out. And also for any, I mean, the town hall itself is for licensee candidates, people who were in various graduate programs or internship programs. So please, if anyone on this call knows someone in that category, friends, colleagues, neighbors, please let them know, because it'll be wonderful to have as many California-based applicants to hear what ASPPB has to say and to communicate. It's an opportunity to communicate concerns directly with them. But yes, we'll be sending out information about it via email and our various social media platforms.
Great. And Mr. Burke, could you also share with this group our efforts when we were concerned about this EPPP2 issue, our efforts to try to look at developing our own exam? Maybe you could provide that update. That would be very helpful.
Yes, this was several years ago. We did look into when ASPPB were first discussing the EPPP2, we did look to see how feasible it would be to create a California-specific examination. And we worked very closely at that time with the Office of Professional Examination Services. They're an entity under the Department of Consumer Affairs that monitor and audit all of the various licensing exams in California. The primary reason the board determined at the time not to go forward with that is cost. Primarily, it's an expensive process, and also potential risks, the impact it would have on reciprocity and licensure portability. So that's the history of our board's research into how feasible a California-specific competency content exam would be.
I think, didn't we also have a concern that there would be a timing issue, and there might be a year or so where we wouldn't even be able to license people because of some gap time? I can't remember exactly, but that sticks in my mind. Maybe one of the other committee members might remember something more specific. See Dr. Tate.
Yeah, there was a timing issue from, I believe, creation, implementation, and getting it out to people. A delay.
Yeah, so then we would have a whole gap of maybe a year or so where we couldn't license people. So that's part of our efforts too, to try to address some of these concerns. Additionally, ASPPB now has sent out a survey for licensees. I think it's licensees to provide input. It just came out this week. I haven't seen the items, but Mr. Burke, perhaps you can share how that will be disseminated to our licensees or people on our board's email list.
Yes, this is a second item. The email came out from ASPPB yesterday morning, so that's why there's nothing about it in the materials, but there will be more about it at our August 22nd board meeting. So ASPPB are conducting a job task analysis survey of the practice of psychology to support upcoming updates to the EPPP. And so they're requesting the various boards' assistance distributing this survey to licensees. So we're going to be sending that out to every licensee via our listserv email platform. We'll also be posting about it on social media like we're doing with the town hall. This is for currently licensed psychologists, and the participation really is essential for developing a valid, fair, and competency-based examination that reflects current practice. The deadline to participate is September the 29th, 2025. It's confidential. All responses are anonymous and will be reported in the aggregate. I clicked through on the survey. It shouldn't take more than 30 minutes of your time. We haven't sent the email out yet to our people, but if you would like to go now and get the word out, you can find it quite easily at asppp.net. And then on the top right of their homepage, there's news. And click on news. And then there's another link for EPPP communications. And once you click on that, the very top item is this job task analysis survey, which you can complete at your own leisure, and please share with as many licensees as possible, because again, it's, I think, really important that we get as many California-based licensees to give their opinion during the survey.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Any other committee member comments?
I just wanted to mention that in the board material, so this item starts on page 36, and in there is the letter that we sent to ASPPB recently, highlighting our concerns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's an important point, that while our licensees and students and licensure applicants might not see what we are doing and the concerns that we have, this is happening. We are aware, we are concerned, and we want to do whatever we can to improve those pass rates and to get people licensed. We need more licensees in California to provide mental health services. So please know that we are concerned, we care, we've been paying attention. I think this letter gives some of that information. Okay. Shall we open for public comment, please?
All right.
Sorry, Dr. Harpsheets, before we do that, may I, sorry,
Sure.
it's John Burke, the Executive Officer, this letter, just so people know, this is an update, because again, this has all happened very recently. ASPPB have confirmed receipt, and it's clearly had got them thinking slightly, because I actually, subsequent to them receiving this letter, had a meeting with Dr. Marion Benetti Atwell, the person whom the letter is addressed to, the Chief Executive Officer of ASPPB. And we had a very good conversation, sort of administrator to administrator. She wanted to really understand the implementation concerns that are specific to California. So I spoke at length about concern about the timelines. 2027 seems far away, but it is very close in the regulatory and legislative world, and just the time and the potential difficulties of that. The requirement for the Office of Professional Examination Services to conduct a review of any new exam, that's an additional time and concern. And then also I spoke more broadly to barriers and potential equity concerns. So it was a great conversation, and we are, I think, being listened to and heard on this. So thank you for board's efforts and for all the people on the call who are continuing to express concerns about this, because it is having an impact. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Burke. I wasn't aware of that call, and this is very encouraging. Dr. Tate?
And just for reference, the letter it begins on page 41 for people who are in the meeting materials.
And the letter provides a good history too, if you're interested of what have we done, what are we doing, what are our concerns that we're expressing. The letter is a really excellent resource document for that too. Okay. All right, great. I think we're ready for public comment.
All right, this is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment on this item, please click the raise hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. All right, and we do have a good number of people requesting public comment, so I'm going to go in the order received. Please be patient. All right, first I have Dr. Lopez Arenas, and Dr. Lopez Arenas, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Hi, everyone. I just want to thank you all for having this conversation. I think this is really important and very validating that y'all are doing something to advocate for many of us. My question is, I didn't get the full name of the ASPPB representative, and my question to ASPPB and everybody is, how do we get on a listserv where we get this information? I did receive the call for feedback through my training director because I do work at a university counseling center. And so, but for those that are disenfranchised or in private practice and they're not connected, they're not on social media, what is the best way that we can stay on top of the ASPPB developments? Is there a newsletter that we can sign up for that's specific to this, or because I'm not really on social media? So how do we get included in that conversation?
Well, to answer your first question, and you're wondering about the executive officer at ASPPB, you will find her name and her contact information. For me, it's on page 41 at the top of a letter that we sent. It's probably also on the other letter.
Oh, I meant for Burke. I didn't catch the full name. I just understood Burke, but I'm not sure who the individual is.
Oh, Mr. Burke is our executive officer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Marianne Burnett Atwell is the executive officer at ASPPB.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and maybe Mr. Burke, could you respond to how can people get information if they're not on social media? How do they sign up either for our email list or any other thoughts?
Thank you. This is Jonathan Burke again, the Executive Officer of the California Board of Psychology. So if you're not on social media, you can sign up for the various California Board of Psychology email list by going to our website, psychology.ca.gov. And on the right, under Quick Hits, there's sign up for our email list. It's at the bottom of the quick hit section. So you can click through on that and you provide your email and you can request the lists you want. There's the disciplinary actions list, there's the general information, and then there's, well, that's it. But those are the lists that we use to share about meeting agendas, upcoming meetings, and other updates. So we'll be using those email lists to disseminate information about the job task survey to licensees and the town hall for applicants and students. Now, if you want to get information about ASPPB, they have a website as well. It's aspppb.net. I know it's a lot of acronyms, but they're the Association of State and Provincial Psychology Boards. And they have a news section. They have an About Us, and you can click and read their newsletters, their strategic plan. It's all on there if you just want to play around on the website. I'm not sure how you can sign up for their newsletters, but I know you can read their newsletters on their site. So that would be the best way. And when ASPPB do share information like they did just yesterday about the town hall, about the job task analysis, we then invariably send out an email as well and talk about it if the timing works out, which it does perfectly for this licensure committee meeting and the board meeting later this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. And yeah, I would encourage you, if you can attend a board meeting, and even if you can't attend, you might look through the materials on the website. And as you can see, our materials are pretty extensive, and you might find out what kinds of communications, what kinds of issues we're talking about regarding the exam. Okay. Next question.
All right, this is the moderator. Next I have Janelle, and Janelle, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. All right, this is moderator Janelle. If you're speaking, we can't hear you. I'm going to request to unmute again. You'll want to click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. All right, let me try one more time, Janelle. And if this doesn't work, I'll circle back with you after we've gone through a couple other comments. So let me request to unmute one more time.
There we go. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
No worries, we can hear you now.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to share my concerns. I think it's great that there's communication happening about this issue. I've taken the EPPP 9 times. My closest score to passing was a 494. I did lose my job because of not being able to pass this exam. I've had a lot of communication back and forth. I've reached out to ASPPB. I've reached out to the Board of Psychology. The fact that ASPPB has had control of an exam that has such a low pass rate and that they still have control over making a second exam and they're asking for surveys, I'm concerned that they're doing what is required of the bylaws of the antitrust that they violated and why Texas, tried to file a suit against them. It's difficult to trust that they really have a desire to create a test that's passable. We're individuals who work very hard. I studied like crazy. I hired a tutor. I bought test prep materials. And one of the ladies earlier this morning mentioned the test questions are not understandable. I could read the test question and I may have partially known what it might be asking, but even the answers underneath aren't answers that fit what you may know to be true
30
about
seconds.
What's happening. So my concern is I would like to see California create a process of licensure that isn't based on a person being able to pass a test, because ethics and competency have nothing to do with being able to pass a test. And portability for California, if you want to have a portable license, then pass the EPPP. I don't think that should be something that we hold as such an important thing. Oh, if this person wants to move to another state, that should be on the individual who wants to move to another state.
All right, and time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is the moderator. Next I have Roxanne Upa Crenshaw. And Roxanne, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. And this is the moderator. Roxanne, if you are speaking, your microphone is still muted. I'm going to request,
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you. My name is Roxanne Upa Crenshaw. I am a licensed psychologist in the state of California. I passed the EPPP on my first take, and I think that's important to note because the feelings that I have about the EPPP have nothing to do with my personal experience with it. I'm very concerned that the EPPP is being used as a gatekeeper to licensure. And I really want to encourage California to consider alternative pathways to licensure. Louisiana is in that process right now. So Texas is not the only state considering dropping the EPPP or giving people alternatives to the EPPP. Licensure is a way to protect the public. That is the purpose of licensure. And right now, the EPPP does not serve that purpose. And in fact, the California Bar Association lowered their cut scores on their standardized test because after study after study, they showed that the public did not have any more protection with a high cut score. The next thing I wanted to say is that there are many, many states that are licensing master's level clinicians in mental health, and this just does not make sense to try and close the gap in mental health practitioners. Why don't we license more doctoral level clinicians instead of making it harder for them? So I would like to have you consider things like the high correlation of the EPPP with APA accredited graduates. Go ahead and give a waiver to those graduates so that they don't have to take this extra barrier and extra cost and not get licensed when they should be licensed. Consider doing a portfolio-based approach. The EPPP has no validity whatsoever, not incremental, not criteria, not content.
This is the moderator. Unfortunately, time is up.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
All right, this is the moderator. Next I have Janet Farrell. And Janet, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Janet Farrell from San Diego. I'm asking you, the licensing committee, to recommend to the full board of psychology that they assign to our executive officer the task of communicating with the executive officer of the Texas State Board of Examiners in Psychology regarding an alternative licensing exam to replace the EPPP. I am also asking that the board, in conjunction with the licensing committee, compose a list of specific questions for our executive officer to ask the Texas's executive officer. These questions from our board might include what Texas's board's plan is in developing testing and disseminating their exam, for which the Texas legislature has given them $1 million. What Texas's proposed timeline is, how Texas plans to make it available to other states, and what the projected cost and length of test would be to California psychologists. 2 months ago, the Texas legislature approved and funded the development of an alternative licensing exam, and the Texas Board of Examiners in Psychology welcomes other states to join them in using this proposed exam. Their purpose in developing it is to lower an unnecessary barrier to licensure for incoming psychologists. This is part of an effort to address the
30
increasing
seconds.
shortage of psychologists, which poses a barrier to mental health access for consumers. California faces a similar shortage of psychologists, and other states have shown interest in the Texas exam, so there would be reciprocity. I know that the California board has prioritized this. In addition, the existing EPPP is considered by many, as evidenced by this call, to already be an unnecessary barrier to licensure. Texas
This is the
intends to develop
moderator.
a
Apologies,
simpler,
time is
less
up.
costly test that can accurately assess.
All right. This is the moderator. We're going to move on to our next individual who has requested public comment. I have John Roberts, and John, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak with a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. All right, and this is the moderator, John Roberts. If you're speaking, we cannot hear you. I'm going to request to unmute again. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. All right, this is the moderator, John. I'm going to try one more time to request to unmute. And if we can't get you unmuted, I will note you down and we'll circle back with you. All right, John, I will circle back with you. We're going to move on to our next person who has requested public comment, Dr. Silsby. And Dr. Silsby, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. Oh, 1 second. Dr. Silsby, you lowered your hand and now I can't find you. Could you? Thank you. We have around 350 people in attendance, so it is a little hard for me to find people if you don't have your hand raised. All right, Dr. Silsby, I'm going to request to unmute. All right, and Dr. Silsby, I want to click that unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Yes, and then there's a few other requests that it had of me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm also here to speak in opposition to the EPPP2 and to make a similar request to collaborate with other states, namely Texas, as Dr. Farrell had just stated. And this will really ensure and open that capacity to have a more equitable access for future licensed psychologists in the field. My understanding is that the executive director must be instructed in order to speak with the Texas executive director. And I'm also not sure if the executive director title is the same as the executive officer, Mr. Burke or Dr. Burke, who's on the call. I'm not sure if that is you. This is a lot of bureaucracy, and I do appreciate the public comment and all of the newsletters and communication that is available to us. So really just to keep that open door. My hope is that a more fruitful alternative, such as some of the things that have been indicated, and also hearkening back to the feasibility study that was noted as well, that there is a lot of already information out there. And I think that if it had begun several years ago, time would have lapsed anyways, and we would currently be in a much better situation, not having people have to sit and take that EPPP 5 times, 9 times, etc. I don't think adding the EPPP2 or a second exam is going to aid or support any of that. So just my request here is that the conversation gets open, so our executive folks speak with Texas and any other states who are willing to share information and ideas. I think between those two very strong states, this can lead a path forward and reduce cost and increase a greater likelihood for reciprocity. My understanding is those are two concerns. And overall, this really is about access to people, so they're not having undue time and cost getting into the field that we're all here having the benefit of.
Thank you, Dr. Silsby.
All right, this is the moderator. Next, I have Jason Fryer. And Jason, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Okay, thank you again. One of the things that I was thinking about when you were asking about why this happened in 2012, I don't know if you're aware of the statistics, but in 2024, I did a bar chart, a graph, a bell curve rather, and I identified that in 2012, the pass rate was roughly between 55 and 65% for first-time test takers. But when the new CEO at ASPPB took over, she brought in this philosophy that we should be in line with other medical fields, which is what her response was, according to the antitrust claim. And of course, it wasn't a lawsuit. It was a filed complaint by the state of Texas, which is also alarming because why does a state have to file with a federal agency basically saying this company, this private company has so much power over states that they can't just say, we're not going to use you anymore. That's alarming. I'd also like to point out that there's a Facebook group called the EPPP Repair Group that is actually geared for repairing this exam too. So people might want to be interested in looking at that. But because of these statistics, by 2023, the first-time pass rate dropped from about 55 to 65% to a 35% based on the Board of Psychology's
30 seconds.
Reporting. That's alarming in a less than 10-year period. we have such an egregious amount of dropping. So obviously this is a very contentious kind of a subject matter, and it's not isolated to California. It's United States and Canada. I know a young person in Canada who's 36 years old, mother of two, and she just lost her opportunity to become a psychologist because they only allow 3 attempts in 5 years in Alberta, Canada.
All right, this is the
Because
moderator.
of the
Unfortunately, time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, this is the moderator. Let me circle back with John Roberts. And John, I'm going to request to unmute your microphone. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. Oh, looks like you are unmuted.
Yeah, I think I figured it out. Can you hear
Perfect,
me
thank
okay?
you. Yes.
Got two things. The first one's real quick statistical, which is how do California triple P test takers compare success rate wise with other states? Is this a problem of roughly a third of the people that take the test pass? That's nationwide, or is it a peculiar to California? The second thing that I'd like to talk about, which is kind of related to it, is I've been licensed as a psychologist about 30 years. I don't really need to take the IPPP unless I decide I want to take an extended vacation or do something out of state for a little while. And I don't really understand why I would be compelled to pass some sort of a modified version of it I'll call myself a senior provider for lack of a less offensive word. Um, and why there isn't some provision, at least in the California license, for I don't know, grandfathering people that have been in practice forever. I shouldn't say forever, 30 years, 20 years, 15, pick a number, or
30 seconds.
Or even being able to look at, things like APA approved programs and other criteria, lack of disciplinary actions, whatever. Anyway, thank you. I appreciate the chance to talk.
Yeah, I think your first question had to do with how does the California pass rate compare to other states? Am I correct in that? Maybe he's muted again.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me.
I got switched over to the handout that I have on the screen.
Okay.
Yes, that's really, I'm just trying to figure out if there's some sort of an epidemic of low pass rates across the country, or if this is peculiar to California.
Ms. Hanson, she is our exam coordinator, and she may be able to give a little bit of information about the pass rate overall in the US and Canada and how California's rate compares.
Yeah, so in the board meeting in May, if you look in the meeting materials for the May 9th board meeting, there are some charts that do show California pass rates compared to all other jurisdictions. These are numbers that were provided by ASPPB. And California pass rates first time and overall are lower.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Hanson.
This also calls into question about the impact on our consumers, namely clients and the population, and the difficulty in accessing open office slots with licensed professionals.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Roberts. Yes.
All right, this is the moderator. Next, I have a call-in user ending in number ending in 55. And for our call-in user, I'm going to request to unmute your microphone. You're going to press *6 to unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, my name is Dr. Chanel Baptiste, and I am one of the co-founding members of a group called Radical Psych, who is advocating for more equitable licensing experience for those seeking a license in psychology. And I'll just be very brief in saying that I have been fighting with this EPPP process since 2022. Though I've only taken it twice, I have been within a stone's throw of passing and have a similar experience to what some folks have mentioned about losing my job at a faculty position that was specially created for me that I could not take. And now I've been struggling to find employment, and it's just been very difficult. And so I am currently based in Louisiana, and I'd like to just briefly speak to what I've been doing in my state. I've been bringing this to their attention since my second attempt in 2023, and back in January was able to get the board to have a working group for BIPOC and EPPP, like to address that particular concern. And what we concluded is that we should propose an alternative pathway to licensure. ASPPB will continue to profit off the resilience of people who are struggling to pass this exam, because what other options do we have but to pass it? I am asking this board to consider not only communicating with Texas to figure out how they can partner with the work that they are doing, but also to communicate with Louisiana as well about what we're trying to do. Their board meeting is September 29th, where we will be discussing
30 seconds.
what was discussed with the working group. And we need as much support as we can get, but at this particular juncture, I am hoping that we have finally reached a point where the EPPP will stop, in other words, destroying people's lives. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, this is the moderator. Next, I have Anna McCarthy. And Anna, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Anna McCarthy from Newport Beach. This is my first time attending a board meeting. I just want to bring up 2 points. One, I passed the EPPP the first time many, many years ago, but of all the many hundreds of tests I've taken, I have to say it was absolutely the most poorly constructed test, with either overly specific or vague and general questions that had little bearing on the practice of psychology, no matter whether we're going into private practice or academia. My second point I wanted to make you aware of, which is slightly but a dear colleague of mine recently received a call from the Board of Psychology telephone number where she was accused of money laundering and trafficking in Texas. It became very obvious this was a scam call, but people were threatening her license. She contacted you 3 weeks ago and is yet to hear back from you. But since I'm on this forum, I wanted to make you aware that this is happening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, this is the moderator, and I just want to give a reminder for our members in the audience. We're only going to be taking 1 public comment per person per agenda item. So I believe we only have 1 more request for public comment from a call-in user ending in 99. Call-in user, if you're going to be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning, and you will press *6 on your device to unmute yourself.
This timing isn't great because my son just got into the car. I think what I basically wanted to say was, I literally help people all over the world with test taking. I specialize in the emotional components of learning. And what it sounds like is the EPPP is not a test that's very interested in content, but tricking the test. And so that's the deep concern here. I do question the idea that we have lower than the national average in terms of pass rate. I think that's something to understand. And then lastly, there are 43 states currently involved in Psych Pact, and California is one of the few that is not. Um, I I do wonder, there seems to be an incongruency here, and I do think perhaps there's some questions that we're not looking at. And after this, I'm going to be calling whomever I need to get more involved in this discussion, because I'm happy to teach anyone to help them to just trick the test and pass it. And we all know that the more times we don't pass, the more anxiety creates greater difficulty moving forward in passing. So that being
30
said,
seconds.
I'm just going to say I feel so terrible for all of you that have gone through this. I mean, yes, I passed on the first time, but I have no idea as to whether it's because I know how to take tests and that's what I do and I teach other people, or because I knew the content. But this is not a content, this is process. And maybe we need to teach process and just for now get more people to pass this exam, because this is absolutely disgusting that
Okay,
we
this
have
is
so
the
many
moderator. Time is up.
really gifted people.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your comment.
All right, and I do have another request, or I have a request from Peter Fernandez. And Peter, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device. And this is the moderator. Peter, if you are speaking, we cannot hear you currently. I'm going to request to unmute your microphone. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
This is Peter Fernandez. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Yes. Just a simple question. I looked over the agenda, and my question is this. Is the EPPP being supplemented by the new enhanced triple P? EPPP? So are candidates for licensure having to take 2 exams, or is this a replacement? Is the enhanced EPPP exam, is that a replacement for the old one, or is it an additional exam? What is the cost for the candidates or the licensees, prospective licensees? Can you help me with that? Thank you.
Sure. Okay, I would encourage you to read the letter starts on page 41. Actually, in a few pages before that gives some history. It's basically one exam, and consider it a revision of the current EPPP, but you can get more detail through reading the letter and the summary in the packet.
Thank you
Okay,
very much. That's very
sure.
helpful. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you. Okay.
All right,
Is there any more public comment?
This is the moderator. Appears there are no further requests for public comment on WebEx. I would just want to, I apologize. We do have another request from Jennifer Callahan. And Jennifer, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Hi, good morning. This is my first time at a meeting, and I'm also using it for continuing education requirements. So thank you. And this has been a lovely experience. I want to say that I'm a licensed psychologist. I passed the EPPP on my first time in 2012. And it has been very beneficial for my career. I'm licensed in California and in Arizona. So having that, passing that allowed me to expand my career. Also with the expansion of the telehealth, teletherapy. My concern from what I'm hearing, and some other individuals have spoken to this, is I personally feel that there needs to be more research in regards to why the pass rate have limited. When I took it, I think a gentleman spoke back in 2012, it was, 50, around 50%. Um, I have overseen psychological assistants. They have all passed. So I'm just wondering, as psychologists, right? Part of what we do is to collect data, analyze it, look at trends, look at behaviors, look at patterns. Are we doing that before we change any metric? And the EPPP is a metric. Now,
30 seconds.
whether that metric needs to get changed, altered, evolve as, society, as, teaching practices have evolved. But it's very important that we do have metrics, but they're accurate metrics, but also the research to back that up. And that's what I'm wondering. Is there ongoing or intended research to understand these trends?
Thank you very much. Thank you for your comment.
All right, this is the moderator. Next I have Kent Coleman. And Kent, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Good morning.
Good
Good morning, we
morning.
can
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me? Oh, great. Well, I just want to second what Jennifer mentioned about metrics and to understand really what the etiology of why there's a higher fail rate or a lower pass rate. I'm helping people right now, pass the EPPP, and over the 45 years I've been a psychologist, I've seen lots of different folks that I've helped to pass different tests. And I want to support what Jennifer's saying. I think we really need to understand why the pass rate is going down. I think one of the things that distinguishes us as psychologists is we're very competent. Those that pass the exam, it's a very difficult exam. I agree with the other person who said it's a very difficult exam, but there's also a lot of content besides the process that if you really understand the questions and have a good background of knowledge on the test question, you usually get the answer right. I'm not saying it doesn't need to be improved, and yes, there's some questionable questions on the test, but overall, I think it's a good examination of a clinical psychologist, not someone else who's more specific in an area. It's really a broad-based
30 seconds.
test. So I want to support Jennifer, and let's look at what really the causal factors and the etiology of why the pass rate is going down.
Thank you, Dr. Coleman.
All right, this is the moderator. It appears there are no further requests for public comment on WebEx. I just want to confirm that there is no public at any of the in-person locations.
None in San Diego.
None in Reading.
None in Sacramento.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will now move on to item number 7, barriers to telehealth survey follow-up. And Ms. Chung will give us that update.
I apologize. This is the moderator. It looks like we did have one person request a comment on the last item at the last minute. Do we still want to take their comment?
Okay.
All right. I apologize. I have Charles Pilavinian, and Charles, you'll be given 2 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. Please click the unmute me button when the prompt appears on your device.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I guess the most relevant question to ask, we have something we call ecological validity, and which addresses, are we testing what we intend to know. Is it reflecting? I mean, is APPP reflecting a good clinician, or reflecting testing, or tapping into the person's knowledge? I think that is the most relevant thing we should look into, ecological validity or external validity. Thank you. That was my question or comment.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Yeah.
this is the moderator. We'll be moving to agenda item 7.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, Ms. Chung, will you provide the update to the barriers to health telehealth survey follow-up?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Harpsheet. This is Stephanie Chung. Included in the materials, you will find the finalized reference document that the licensure committee has worked on and is ready to be posted on the board's website. You can see it on the actual the product is on page 45 of the PDF, where you can find the reference document. And on the reference document, we provided a background of follow-up actions and the links that were recommended by the committee and the board to be included on this reference document. So this is board staff is going to post this reference document on our board's website, specifically on the licensees page under practice guidelines, articles, notices, and other useful information. And we just want to thank publication staff, Ms. Greenley, to help us designing this document. And this is an information item, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you, Dr. Harpsheet.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chung. Committee members, do you have any questions? Looks like not.
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was muted.
Oh, you were? Oh, okay. Do you have any questions, Dr. Tate? Comments?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Nystrom?
None here. Thank you.
Okay. Could we open for public comment, please?
All right, this is the moderator for members of the public. Oh, I apologize, hit the wrong slide.
Okay.
We are not adjournment, we are on public comment.
Okay.
For members of the public on WebEx, if you would like to make a public comment on this item, please click the raise hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. And I'll pause a moment to allow the public time to access that raise hand feature. While we're waiting, just want to confirm that if there's any people at the in-person locations.
None in San Diego.
None in Reading.
None in Sacramento.
All right, and it appears there are no requests for public comment on WebEx at this time.
Okay, we will move on to our final item on the open meeting part of our agenda, which is the stakeholder meeting preparation update. I'd like to ask Ms. Chung if you could just provide that informational item to us.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Harpsheet. So the stakeholder meeting was originally scheduled to take place during the July licensure committee meeting. But due to both our board and the Board of Behavioral Sciences, we're currently undergoing the sunset review process. So it's tentatively rescheduled to the second licensure committee meeting in 2026. Just want to highlight that preparing for a stakeholder meeting requires significant time and resources. So postponing it will allow board staff the necessary time to adequately prepare and ensuring the meeting is meaningful and productive for all participants. And that's the update. Thank you, Dr. Harpsheet.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chung. Okay, this concludes, well, no, we have to have any comments from our committee. And
yeah, I was just going to say, excuse me for interrupting, Dr. Harpsheet.
Sure.
Thanks for delaying it, because I do want it to be a fruitful discussion and have all the time we need to prepare for it appropriately.
Thank you, Dr. Tate. I agree with you. Ms. Nystrom?
I agree. Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. And let's open for public comment, please.
All right, this is the moderator for members of the public on WebEx. If you would like to make a public comment on this item, please click the raise hand icon, or if you're an audio only participant, you can raise your hand by pressing *3 on your device. All right, and it appears there are no requests for public comment on WebEx, and just to confirm, there's no public in attendance at any of the in-person locations.
None in San Diego?
None in Sacramento.
None in Reading. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. This concludes the open meeting, the open session of our agenda. And after this, we will move into closed session to discuss and consider qualifications for licensure. Again, we will not be discussing any items in open session after the close of business, the closed session of business concludes. We will adjourn the meeting at the end of closed session. At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Polk to let attendees know how much CPD credit they can claim and how to do so.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for attending the Licensure Committee meeting today. For attending the full duration of today's meeting, 2 hours under CPD category number 1, attendance at a California Board of Psychology meeting can be accredited. For your CPD records, please note today's date as August 8th, 2025, the name of today's meeting, which is the Licensure Committee meeting, and 2 hours for your records. Again, please maintain this record as certificates of attendance will not be provided by the board. For attendees who joined by phone and called the U.S. toll phone number, please send an email to bopce@dca.ca.gov. Again, that is bopce, as in Board of Psychology Continuing Education, @dca.ca.gov. And please provide your name, license number, and the phone number of the phone you called in from. Attendees who signed in using a computer or mobile device from the WebEx link, your attendance was automatically documented and no further information is necessary. For any attendees who are in person at the telecom.
Okay,
this is the moderator. Appears the El Dorado room audio cut out.
Oh, okay.
Are you?
Oh, there you are, Mr. Pope. Great.
Okay, would you like me to make the announcement over again?
Just the end of it.
Okay. Let's see. I'll go over on how, if you called in. For attendees who joined by phone and called the U.S. toll number, please send an email to bopce@dca.ca.gov. Again, that is bopce, as in Board of Psychology Continuing Education, @dca.ca.gov. And please provide your name, license number, and the phone number of the phone you called in from. Attendees who signed in using a computer or mobile device from the WebEx link, your attendance was automatically documented and no further information is necessary. For any public attendees who are at the teleconferencing locations, please sign out before leaving today's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Polk. The Licensure Committee will now meet in closed session to discuss and consider qualifications for licensure. A reminder that at the conclusion of closed session, we will only reconvene to adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone, for attending and participating in today's meeting.
All right, this is the moderator. I'm going to move the people who need to be in closed session into a separate breakout room. You'll probably get a prompt that says ask if you'll join the breakout room. And so you'll join that, and then you can go ahead and get started with your closed session. So let me go ahead and get that started.